So good evening and welcome to the Donny Chaingang live here on the Downey Cycling YouTube channel, on the Full Speed Events YouTube channel, on the Facebook group, wherever else it happens to be streamed to randomly for some reason today. So welcome once again. It's OTE month all the way through September. OTE, one of our key supporters of the Donny Chaingang and the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club, which is all that lot up there. So 1080 OTE Gritty, the team from Nonnas, Velaskin, Halo, and of course Continental, looking after the riders who keep the show on the road. So the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club basically bankroll the whole operation. They look after us in terms of making sure that we can get the stream out to you, make sure the kit's working, making sure that we have a way of bringing you the ride, and of course Russ and myself putting all that time in looking after people, jumping on the chain gang and making sure that we're dealing with Zwift, all the usual things. There has been a big update as well on Zwift for people who haven't already got that through, so it's worth making sure you're up to date with what's happening where and when. And of course the predicted carnage that is introducing all of the beacons, the power-ups to our ride has come to pass, and people dropping anvils all over the place when they shouldn't have done last time, and now checking out what does what, which was kind of the plan, was to give it a bit of a bounce. So got a big thank you to everybody who's on the gang. Don't forget, of course, we have a great route for you here today. We've got a lead-in of 0.5 kilometres, basically onto a route that is going out around the wrong way around the Greater London Flat that we used last week. We then come back in the opposite direction after doing a bit of a spin around the classic course. We go down Downing Street, we go around in the correct direction again, going back around the circuit and then heading out on to the hill itself. The total distance of the course is 36.7, and certainly it looks like at the moment it is going to take you in to the top of Keith Hill with a warm down of just over 4k. Right, let's drop on to our map with a little bit more of a detailed look on there. So the Chaingang, as you can see, the ride just dropping down. So basically we go in from the warm-up across the top of the text, dropping in. We do the Greater London Flat anti-clockwise. We then spin around and do essentially a very similar route clockwise. We then come around back past our start point, past the Pens and onto Keith Hill for an uphill finish. A yellow beacon. And once again, Russ leading the gang, keeping everything all in and around the blob and heading in the right direction. Sweeping from the back, well, it is the red beacon. Simon Runnett, a.k.a. Sean, a.k.a. Simon, in his gritty top there today on our picture. And our red beacons, absolute superstars. They are the guys who make sure the riders are safe, they're swept up, that they're motivated, they're there to give you assistance. Please let them know on the message board if you're not going to go to the end of the ride, or you don't want picking back up again and assisting at the back of the ride, because otherwise they will expend a lot of energy chasing people who don't want to be helped. And if you want to be a red beacon, the most rewarding job in the business, then make sure you get in touch with Gail on the Facebook pages, volunteer services, and help us bring the gang and keep it what it is. They are an absolutely integral part, and all the guys doing that, doing a great job. So, quick reiteration, leading of 0.5k, the course length itself is 36.2, which means it's 36.7 kilometres to the top of the Keith Hill Arch, and that's our finishing line. We warm down to the Blue Banners, just over 4k, which means that we'll climb a total of 407 metres. Where is those 407 metres? Well, the little graphic which is up there, you can see it from fellow viewer. Well, I think this really does illustrate where all that climbing is. So you're going to start off and come in from the left-hand corner. You drop down the roller coasters. You do the loop in both directions on the lower section of the screen, and then you head in the opposite direction up onto the climb proper with a relatively flat finish to the run into it. It does make for an interesting sprint in towards the line. So let's see how that goes. It's going to be interesting to see how the gang are able to handle that. Our riders are down on the start line, and we're going to just go take a look at them. And let's see who's up to what. Certainly it looks like the gang are starting to assemble. 61 riders down on the start line. And as you can see, we are just under 40 seconds to go on our clocks. Remember, guys, make sure that you keep an eye on the clock above your screen if you're watching live simultaneously. That is absolutely key. And don't forget that the clock will tick down. Our riders will be away. It's about staying around that yellow beacon. And let's see who can hold it together on this course, essentially heading in over those roller coasters. So let's see who is going to take that away. 5 seconds to go. We're going to lose our clock off the screens, which means that we are going to see our riders set off from that start line. And certainly it looks like pretty much everybody able to get away on time. So we are going to see everybody heading off. We're going to jump in, I think, with Simon Runnett to start off with. So Simon is away. Our riders are away. Let's jump in with the ride here on the Donny Chaingang. So riders setting off on to the course. And Simon at the moment making his way. So just checking that everybody out from those pens safely. The only thing that doesn't go is the full speed events avatar that sits there on the line. So you can just see Simon just chasing the back of that group in and out away from the velodrome, which is nowhere near where it shows up on the Zwift wheel. That's the advantage of Zwift. We can magically transport ourselves away from very less interesting bits of terrain and link together all the fun stuff and get rid of all the stuff that's not so much fun. So the riders away. Simon jumping up to the back wheel of Keith Richardson at the moment, and if we get that helicopter up in the air, I think you can see that the riders moving pretty smoothly up there. So here on the Donny Chaingang, our riders riding through to try and form one group. It looks like we've got Mr. Pritchard on here. Let's have a look. It looks like he's managed to make it. So good to see we've got Chris Pritchard on. Just rolling around at the back of that pack. There are due to be a few people, I'm sure, who are going to jump in slightly late today. And certainly looks like Stu Cheeseman just having a little bit of a tech issue. Down the late join should be on for everybody, so everybody should be able to go back in and late join in. But don't forget getting those connections and making sure it's all running nice and stable. Partly keep up. We actually start the system up generally mid-afternoon, although today it was started up early on in the morning today, just to make sure everything was in there now. Let's see who is going to be dropping. Lots of the anvils being dropped down early. Lots of those steamrolls being dropped down. And that's just to make it a little bit smoother on the way through. Let's just get a few people jumping in on that late start. And I think pretty much most people, if we take a look over the top, looking pretty smooth as we go through. So the Chaingang underway, our riders out and moving. Let's see how they are rolling. So let's see if they are all going to be able to hold it on. So let's see how they are streaming along here. It's certainly looking good at the moment. So good to have Mike Sarkard on again. Mike back in with us once more. Wolfdale Phil in here, Pete Travel, Daisy Freer joining us once again on the Thursday day. Just tucked in the other side of the course over there. Guy licensing. Looks like Jeff Saysor just making some ground to try and get into that pack before it disappears too far up the road. So Jeff just pushing on here. Jeff, of course, part of the gang from Wales, all part of that Continental Tyres team who all support the Chaingang. Don't forget, of course, the more you support the Donny Chaingang by being a member of the supporters club, the more that we can do as the Chaingang, the more people we can look after, and of course the more time we can spend just making sure everything is working for you, and that's really what we're looking for too. We don't monetize the stream, we don't basically get any direct sponsorship. All of our supporters you can see on the bottom of your screen, so 1080, Continental, Velaskin, Halo, Nonus and Gritty, as well as OTE, all looking after the riders on the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club, and they are the people who keep the show on the road. So Simon with a bit of work cut out at the moment, so looks like Jeff's just going to be able to get some draft from Simon on the way through here. Hovering around the back, generally the best place to go. Let's take a little bit of a look as he comes through. So he gets into the slipstream and then makes his way in and through. Pretty rapid at the moment. Up in the group, heading through. Just seeing a few people just getting a little bit squiggly at the back of this group. If we take the drone cam out and across, you can just see the gang just a little fractured at the back here, and I think Miss Cookie going to be starting to keep that pace. Got herself a Tron bike, I noticed, so on the Tron machine out in London again on Thursday. So here we go. Daisy Freer, Keith Richardson, Craig Herring, just distanced a little bit from the back of the pack as to go through. That pack is fairly shifting on at the front. Let's have a little look at the group at the front. Let's go have a little look at the numbers. Now, nothing too drastic up there, just the pace of a big group moving to keep everything rolling along by the look of it. So it looks like Tracy Seeley just dropping back a touch there, the Terminator 2.0. Just at the back of the group, just doing about 2.8 watts per kilo, just push it on the way up. So looks like Simon just dropping back once again. Tracy on the push of the squeeze up. Just think it's the run up to the Troway Cafe, Tracy. So just rocketing away up and through. Looks like Mr. Mason in here. Gareth Mason back in once again into the gang in the black here. Interestingly, gone for a nice lightweight ride here. So got a nice lightweight frame with the lightweight wheels on there. So the Specialized is a real light frame. So good one to use when you get onto the hills if you're confident of staying in with the pack. So Tracy's got a dropout issue post update. A few people having a few issues. Generally, we see that on the end of a update when people work their way through. And that's generally when things get a little bit interesting. And it's always one or two people for whom the system doesn't want to get rolled in properly. But it looks like everybody just starting to come back together. We're going to be joined by Raccoon as well. Going to jump in just on a late join, just jumping in to the gang. So you just see the back of the pack again, once again, just starting to get spun out here as we roll through. We're going to take the right hand turn, and that's a great opportunity to come back together again for that pack to rejoin a bit early in the day for the gang to be split apart and to lose our red beacon already off the back, having to do work. There's quite a lot of riders in that group. So over the top of the hill we go. Those people who are here last Thursday will remember this was from the opposite direction from when we were in Great London Flat, from the time we were running in last Tuesday, which came in. So Tuesday we were in on the Great London Flat, came in and around, go the opposite direction. So really interesting to watch the riders who are having a number of issues that Tom's going to have to try and push on. I think here Brad Cheeseman, the same here, Isaac Oliver, having to try and motor on to get into the back of the groups. I'd seen a number of comments about people and the numbers being relatively low. That is definitely the case, that it is low. We know a number of people having to log out and log back in. Again, a number of people's updates not working super smoothly, and that has certainly, I think, hit the numbers a little bit. You can see some of our regular riders, people like Tom Lindley, Matt Pritchard, just being distanced and doing the kit out and then having to come back in. So let's see how these riders are pushing on. Interesting to see people talking about the level 51. We were at level 50 was the maximum level you could get to. Now you can go right the way up to level 60, but it is going to be fed in steadily. So if you've amassed a whole load of drops, points, a whole load of miles on the way through, what you're going to find is that they are drip fed into the system, and you are going to get them back at a steady rate all the way through to 60. So basically you can keep on rolling those levels on. Yes, we've got Dale Williams back in the gang as per normal. So Dale in his traditional pink and blue kit. Looks like Billy No Mate's making it into the gang as well, again on another Tron bike. A lot more Tron bikes, I think, in the peloton, in that Donny Chaingang than maybe before, and it is the best all-round bike. So this is a real all-round course. This could well be a good course to have that all-round bike. Interestingly, though, people like Keith Richardson going for an aero frame, aero disc, and deep wheel. And to be honest, if the trigger point is given by Russ and being aerodynamic on the way through from here into the climb is going to be key. Let's see if they're going to be the ones that can hold on. If you're very confident of staying in with the group until the climb, then maybe go for a light one, particularly if you are trying to play to your strengths on the flat sections, and just leaving the hills is where it's going to be very difficult. So let's see. Tickers in. Good drive by Mark in the Sand and Sequoias ride. Yeah, on I was going to say yesterday, it's Tuesday. 2 days have got in between. A scary thought. However, yes, 2 days have got in between, and you can see we are in and rolling at the moment. So here on the Donny Chaingang, the group starting to bunch up nicely. One or two people just being a little early, but let's see how the sweeps are going and pulling people in. It looks like that group is together. I can't really roll out the back of it. Let's have a little bit of a look to see who's actually sitting in and around. So it looks like Keith Richardson, Billy No Mates, Tracy, interestingly, Tracy Seeley. Tracy having issues with the tech today, so not sitting in super smooth as normal, so it'll be interesting to see how she's going on. A lot of people really being deposited out the back very quickly at the moment. Certainly they're in 1 second and they're out the back the next. So it's certainly going to be a night where it's a bit like those days when you're out and racing, when there's people all over the road, when they're it's pouring down with rain, when people are struggling and battling with it. So let's see how the guys are going. So let's see how the team are rolling along. Let's see the gang. Hopefully everybody's going to keep it smooth today. No racing like a loon off down the front, and everybody hopefully working together as they go through. Let's take a little bit of a look here. Looks like someone's patrolling the back. We've got Raccoon making his way in. So Raccoon's got into the group. There we go, and that pack is glued together. We'll look at the top right hand side of our screen. You can see that map view. If we zoom out, no dots there, no dots around, so it looks like hopefully everybody's system has stabilised itself. Let's see how that's going to roll now. Miss Cookie is looking like she's keeping this nice and smooth today, having a nice out spin out around London, hopefully staying clear of the crowd. So good to see Miss Cookie jumping back on the gang again, doing her own thing, but no doubt paying attention to what the boss has said. So we'll be keeping it smooth, hopefully, as she goes through. So at the moment, the gang are holding it together, and hopefully everybody's going to stick pretty close. Guys, if you are planning on going off the back to do a sprint, you need to put a message out. If you're going to go off the back deliberately, please let our red beacons know, because they are going to be really working. Simon is going to be working pretty hard today, trying to keep hold of everybody. I mean, just see Tracy just being distanced backwards again, and certainly looks to me like quite a few riders just being pulled out the back of that group. So going to be may well be that we need a few attentive bodies out and around the rear of the pack to try and pull people in. It's going to take some real work. Normally it's about controlling the front. I think today there's going to be some serious work in the Chaingang just to pull people back in again. So I think Simon's got a bit of a tough day, and he's drawn today on the red beacon duties. And don't forget, if you want to join in those the ride and jump on the ride and help out at the back, that is the best place to give a hand. So Simon just getting the message from Wayne. Did an amazing job. Thank you very much, Wayne. Just letting people he's okay. And so it's Wayne Barr for Simon. Simon will be no doubt listening. So Wayne Barr, all-round nice guy, great mountain biker, a regular on the national scene, down from Scotland, although originally from the other side of the planet, and a great rider. Race, of course, Velocity 44. And somebody who is really taken to the Chaingang, and great to see him in here. So looks like Raccoon and Williams working around the back. We've got a few bodies helping out there, which is really going to be key tonight, because there's going to be tough stuff trying to keep everybody's in there, round and about in the right place, and it's going to be around about in the right place at the moment. So just seeing dropouts for people. You just see the power just sort of seems to pile off people at the moment. No problems for our yellow beacon. Hopefully, I know Russ will have been extensively testing it during the course of today. Let's have a little check. Russ in here on the Pinarello. Here we go. So Russ in the Donny Cycling Coaching Works kit, and tucked in there. Bunches on as well. A nice set of relatively lightweight hoops on that bike today, just to give it a little bit of better climbing ability as it goes up those hills. It's almost more retro than the bike is up to the Simon Simpson retro road actually at the moment, with those sorts of wheels on there. That certainly looks to me like the group going well. It's coming down past MI6 buildings on the far side, and then starting to roll in towards the Westminster Abbey before taking a left-hand turn up and through. So Russ just pulling everybody in around the side of the Palace of Westminster, in underneath the big Ben Bell Tower, taking that left-hand turn, just hidden behind the clock face there, and you just see that group just started to make its way in through. You can just see now with the side of Parliament Square off to the riders left. All right, Russ leading the group through. Dale Williams. I have to worry. I think Miles Curry nicely tucked in here. Tunica from Chef Wrecking once again. You'll see Neil Beavers is back in with us again. Neil doing a great ride on the Sand and Sequoias, and going for the red and black sort of kit this time around. It'd be interesting to see whether we can keep track of everybody's changing kits. That certainly looks like it's holding together, with the exception of people who've got issues, I think, with the tech. I think Wayne just taking a little bit of a roll back. Looks like Gash out just asking. They asked him, "Do you want to tow back on?" The answer was no. Just taking a little bit of a look at Tracy. I think Tracy's got a drop out. She's Gary's got a drop out, but he's okay. Tracy in there as well. So I think it's going to be a busy night at the back of the gang, trying to pull people in and through. I think Simon just dropping back to go pick up Tracy. We're going to see if she's actually still in this group. I think Simon, you could be going back to nobody. 21.5 minutes of riding. Then Tracy now reappears. So unless you used a ghost in there, which is possible to disappear off our screens with the ghosts, I think there's going to be a little bit of help on the way back. So let's have a little bit of a look. So Tracy pushing on, Simon just going back to help. I can see this very quickly actually becoming two bunches. Basically, those people who've been dropped because they've had a dropout, and those people who haven't yet had a dropout left on the front. It could be quite random, I think, who's going to be in the run up at the front. You see Miller's back in, Beagley's in as well. Good to have you back, mate. It's another of our regulars from last season. So Beagley back on the Chaingang, or once again, as the saying goes. So good to see James in here. One of our youngsters who I suspect could be very interesting when we hit the climb. Got a few of the youngsters due on the Chaingang. We've got Hutchinson in here. Zach Hutchinson should have, I think, Tom Lindley I've seen floating around. We've got Mark Ketteringham as well in the mix. Another of our youngsters who's riding really strong at the moment. See Mark in there. And just riding in that kit. So Mark in the mix as well. Taking it to our slightly more mature runners, people like Owen Davies and co. Not picking you up particularly. Oh, now Russ is feeling particularly brave. A sprint and a regroup is calling on the way through. That would give a good regroup actually for everybody else. So that could be a really good move, I think, tonight as the it goes through. So let's see how we go. Where's Jimmy tonight? Don't know. Pass. Don't know where Jimmy is tonight. Might be on a parents' evening. You never know. That does happen on occasion. So, is this going to be who's got a cold? Not surprised it's freezing out there today. Haven't even got the heating. I've got heating on in the studio at the moment, but I have to say I'm stood here in a jumper, which makes a change. Normally it's sweltering by now, half an hour, or heading towards half an hour in. So I think we're going to get a bit of a regroup coming up. So once we come out on the other side of this, let's see whether it all behaves itself. Because Ben Cokin's back in as well. It's great to get flick through all the names and see everybody in the group once again. Good to see we've got Joanne Lee in here. So Lee joining in as well, a regular on the WoW DCG and the DCG. It's great to see the riders behind getting the chance to keep on rolling. So that's going to be interesting to see how they go on and whether they can pull this group back in again. So it looks like a few people on the kick for the line here. I suspect we're probably going to take away a few on the gang. Dale Williams, Tom Lindley all mixing it up at the front. I'm going to watch that sprint time starts coming in and through. Here we go. So Miles Curry taking the fastest time. That's the 13.75 from one of our youngsters. He's staying with Bobby Mason at the moment going through, but Miles Curry, the fastest rider of the gang. So Stunning goes through, leads us through there. 31 years old, he's not that much of a youngster now, I have to say. He's definitely one of our fastest riders here. So he got that time in nicely as well. So Miles goes through. You're always a big youngster to me, Sonny, don't worry. 31, you're still 20 years behind me. So Sonny Miles Curry getting the fastest men's time through there. And then it's going to be Clark who's got the women's fastest time. And just going to take a little bit of a look, I think. There we go. So Clark getting fastest women's time, that's Lindsay, taking that fast time through there. So it looks like Tracy's struggling with the interweb, the internet connection and how well it's uploaded. If you have a slightly flaky internet connection, it can really mess with the upload of the new updates. Sometimes it means if it does get interrupted, you have to uninstall and reinstall. We'll see now. Mike Sarkar saying he'll pay for that sprint later. Most people usually do, mate, to be fair. So let's see how he gets on during the rest of the ride. So at the moment it is going to be the gang on its way through. Looking good at the moment. So let's see who's going to be able to roll in with Russ, and who's going to be the speedy rider who's going to be able to take this out. I think at the moment it's all going to be about the pace, the pressure that they can put on. So at the moment, the gang just on the roll down through Whitehall, still looking pretty smooth. No issues for them as they make their way in. I think we can let them steadily roll the way down there. Certainly looking pretty smooth. Let's just see how they get on as they make their way down there. Certainly looks all the way across the road a key sign that they're not pushing on too hard at the moment for the fast riders. But don't forget, of course, big pack like this, and it's much too easy to get carried away on the way through, and that's not going to do you any good at all. So two riders just off the back, and they're just waiting to squeeze back in. Let's take a little bit of a look. So it looks like Keith and Simon just distanced off the back. Let's take a little bit of a look back of the group. So just seeing Sharp, Richardson and Runnit, the riders who are facing that chase back on at the moment. So going to just take a little bit of a run back to Keith's avatar at the moment. So Keith Richardson going back. I think everybody's very wary about going back and helping out too much. And I'm not surprised. That's just simply because you can just see everybody's just having a little bit of a little look over and just being a little careful about this one, I think. And I don't blame them. With the way that the ride is shaping up, I think anybody with a bit of tech issues could be in trouble, but strength in depth, as we see people like Miles Curry dropping back to help out here, Raccoon, Lindley, Williams, all just pushing back. Great to see that gang working well. Tom, it's not just you, there is an echo, mate. It's a nasty, nasty echo. I can actually get rid of it with a bit of jiggery pokey. If I do this, this should get rid of the echo. It isn't just Tom, it's actually is a real echo in there. But you shouldn't have it now. It should be super smooth. What you won't get is you're probably not going to get the sounds of Zwift, but we do have another way around this where we're able to play with it. Occasionally will work, but we'll see how it runs. So the answer is yeah, your hearing is too good, Tom. That's for sure. That echo coming through. So basically, the show has been completely rebuilt from scratch. Although it will look very familiar. It's just a complete rebuild, and that means that once that rebuild is done, it gets a bit interesting. So that will just means that when we get multiple sources coming in, every now and then we'll get a intrusion in to the sound on its way through. And if that happens, we do try and get rid of it. But it doesn't always work. It has to be said. Sometimes it just stays there on its way in there. And you just end up with it, whether we like it or not. Certainly midway through the show, that's the case. So just at the moment, just continuing to push onwards here. The riders looking pretty good, and now everyone having to concentrate, trying to keep it all tight together as they come down through the straight. Keith in that pack, which is good to see. So Chris Canham making his way up towards the front of the group, and certainly seems like he's got plenty of power. We may well be reliant on a certain Tom Lindley to just multiple check our records, but we think it's still there. Still shows up on our screens, let's put it that way. So good to see that the Origin race team's still in here. Certainly looking good at the moment. We do want to share schedule in Daylight Savvy every now and then by just turning the volume round to 11. Has to be done every now and then. Apologies, guys. So for those people that don't know, we're going out live on the YouTube feed, on the Donny Chaingang YouTube feed, on a Facebook page as well. Just starting to see those groups start to form. I think Ticker's now being dispatched off the back with that increase in pace of the climb. Looks like Tracy Seeley going to be riding through a little bit further back. Got a fair bit of pace rolling, but losing time with that dropout. So at the moment, Tickers is going to be our man off the back, and can't imagine it's going to be long before the bus form. Don't forget, if you want to take part, if you want to be part of that bus, then make sure that you jump in with the gang. And make sure that you are part of the Donny Chaingang. It's absolutely key for us that we see our people out there riding, looking after each other. And that Donny Chaingang gang, the DCG gang, is absolutely cool, as it's what keeps us riding. Great to see our riders looking after each other. And Ticker's just letting Simon know just to not to bother go chasing back. You see John Hines back on again. John, another of our regulars on the chain gang as well, with Paul Mallin in here as well. Thanks, Tom. You'll notice, though, in theory, that you're getting absolutely zip in terms of Zwift noise. Essentially, the latest update seems to have combined the audio from the studio microphones with Zwift and put it out as one on top of the microphones, which is really nice of it, which means we're going to have to go through and debug the whole lot. Who needs a life anyway that isn't watching the Donny Chaingang? I mean, let's face it, what else could you be doing on a Thursday evening other than on the Chaingang, chasing around the streets of London? 22.8k under the wheels, 37 minutes of riding. And looks like the gang nicely together. Those at the front, those that have made it through the tech, made it onto the start line and up and away. Drabble's still in here, Miles Curry in here. Looks like Simon just patrolling the back with Keith Richardson. So Keith and Simon doing the business here today. Ticker's looking very smooth at the moment. Let's get a bit of a... let's see if we can have one of those wonderful custom views that we can occasionally get it to do. There we go. So looks sort of like Mark looking very good in that Sitwell CC. Heading in and through the side of Harrods, which is all lit up by his right-hand side. It's actually Harrods that you're going past there. Not that they're allowed to advertise that fact, because I'm sure the store would be after them. But there's no mistaking that if you've been out and through. Running on his rather nice Pinarello here as well. And good to see that Mark has got nice pedal cadence there, just rolling around about 85, 86. And that Pinarello looking good as we go through. Basically heading in through Kensington, going to be dropping down into towards Hyde Park Corner. The guys at the front just rolling underneath the tunnel, so you can just see the gang coming back in and through. And again, one or two riders just being distanced out. Simon running, just chasing back on, just going back to help people, then giving them some draft, then coming back on again. It's tough stuff out there. It is really, really hard to make sure that you stay on the pace on the way through. Everybody at the moment looking good. So good so far. Most people just chasing back in. One or two people just distance on the back. Tickers and Tracy having to do their own variety of the attack. Miss Cookie on best behaviour at the moment and riding smoothly through. Looks like Simon and Jeff Cecil at the moment just on the back here. It's a two-stage bit of a climb here as they go up this climb, and just starting to see a little bit of a string at the back of the gang here. Just going to try and get the drone up in the air and not crash into the buildings. I'm a better driver than I am drone flyer. So Dale said he's going too fast. I'm not surprised. So Tickers looks like he's waiting for Tracy. Then there's Miss Cookie a bit further back than that. So the riders are just ticking along at the moment, coming up towards the top of the climb. 2% gradient. He then dips a sharp right and drops down. Remember, we're at 24.5k at the moment. We're going to be going up to the top of the climb. That's just over 36 k's at the top of the Keith Hill after party at the moment. Number of riders already having to fight here to stay in touch. Just say so, making contact once again. We're just seeing Daisy and Mark Grant just feeling the pressure as they came up that section of the climb. So Mark with some work to do to get back on to the group. Let's take a little bit of a look down here. Looks like we've got at least one or two breadcrumbs hidden front, and that's going to be, I think, Daisy just having to chase hard. Now, Daisy's one of our lighter riders in the peloton, and on those downhills, you'll see our riders having to put out some serious wattage. 4.8 watts per kilo by Daisy on that descent to chase on to the group in front. And that makes life difficult. Once we go down that hill, Mark Grant getting a little bit of advantage on that section. But as we go in here, this is all about trying to get themselves back into the group. So great riding out on the course at the moment. The riders now coming around towards Trafalgar Square, heading back into T Square, as it's universally known in the events world. And then they're going to be making the way back along in the opposite direction along the straight, heading in towards Tower Bridge, in towards the Tower of London, over Tower Bridge, down the escalators. I can even say it. You can tell I haven't got a coffee in the studio at the moment. That's I know. Careful, I know pigs will fly, but yeah, I don't actually have a coffee in the studio at the moment. It's a fundamental schoolboy error on my part. So here we go. Just see Daisy trying to chase the group through the square and down onto the descent. Run it, just trying to see and pick up Mark Grant, I think, and then start heading down. Daisy on her own, just coming in and through. Let's take a look. And just seeing Simon just going through the gap there. And here comes the chase behind. This is going to be Mark Grant. So Grant now with the chase on towards Simon. Then they're going to try and pick up Daisy on the way through and get onto the back of this group. Always tricky. Russ at the moment just sitting at the back of this pack. You get the drone out and you can just see that they are almost in touch with each other behind to get into the back of this group, but time is running out. We're on 42 and a half minutes at the moment. So good to have Mike Killingsworth on here. He's on one of our very first shows, actually, that we sent out. Proved the tech could work, that we could do it. It has to be said, the amount of checking and teching and etc. is definitely very tricky to do that connection on the way through. So for Mr. Mason, and for those of you who haven't perhaps seen the map, we're going to pull it in very, very quickly for you. So if you take a look, you can see at the moment the lead-in is 0.5, length 36.7. Most importantly, though, for those people, the profile here as you run in and up that climb. Basically, you've got about 5 or 6 Ks of pain, mate. Don't worry about it. It's not a lot. You should have done this so many times, you know it inside out. So Simon and the gang on the way through. Mason trying to judge his watts. We're not going to give you all the game away. You should pay your membership to VeloViewer and do your homework. Always worth doing. And jump on to the VeloViewer site. Make sure you check out what the VeloViewer guys say. 5 watts per kilogram all the way. I mean, Mason should know, let's face it. It's not like he doesn't know it. He has done his plans. You're just winding everybody up, I know. Thank you very much, sir. Gareth and I are going to go for a ride one day. If only because he's probably owes me a few bits of kicking on the bike after all the grief we give him. So the gang working nicely together at the moment, just running in through this roller coaster section, heading in towards the tower, and looks like a few people just getting shelled out of the back, and I think that gap now too big to get on. So Daisy Freer with Simon running and Mark Grant chasing. I think if we take a little bit of a look back from Daisy's camera, you can just see that red beacon behind. That's the easiest way to go. A road trip to Box Hill then. Again, yeah, maybe not. I don't know. Let's see. Right. So, riders just a little bit further back. On the back of the gang, well, Dale Williams is on the back of the group. And Dale looking very PB up here. That'll be very interesting to see if he can do that as he comes up and through. So drinks being served next stop Paradise. Yeah, that's the one. So our riders working well. We're on this roller coaster section. It really does rise and low. You can actually get a better idea of this gradient if we drop our drone cam in and down. It's so basically if we pull our cam down and get a closer look at that gradient, nicely working the way up towards the summit of the bridge. It's then going to roll down again. Good for Mr. Mason to tell us it's not 1 mile south of Waterloo. I do know it's a lot further out. It's the wonders of the world of Zwift enabling us to be able to transfer over using the magic tunnels that are the London Underground. If only it was that simple. Actually heading down south to the climb. And going to be coming down to the Urban Hill climb. A week on Saturday coming, so we're going to be down for the Urban Hill climb. Heading down, going to be on the mic for that, organised by the London Cycling Campaign. Really looking forward to that. Going to be travelling down in the train to take the Strain, then down into St Pancras, then across on the tube before heading up towards Highgate Cemetery and up in towards the climb. Always great fun. And Swains Lane playing host to that. Originally a Rollerpalooza production with Casper. Now a part of the... Oh, and we've got the Go, Go, Go. There's been a Go, Go, Go gone. Paul Malin putting a ghost there. It was almost at the right time. Look at the number of drafts having to go in. Look at the amount of aero all at the back of the bunch just about. Riders who want to be right up. So here we go. These riders have got to give it some... This is where it's all about having that pace and that power. So let's see if they've got the speed to take this out. It is really, really tough now because it has gone before we drop down and look. All of a sudden, the group, it's like a comet rocketing its way around the Tower of London. And that is because we've got this big head to it pushing its way through. Behind everybody is in bits behind. Interesting to see a few people putting in their anvils now. Personally, I would be trying to smash the incoming down off the bridge because in theory it should last all the way down. Basically, if you fire it up less than 1.5%, it's not going to do anything. But if you fire it on the way into the descent down onto those elevators, it's going to slingshot you right the way through. Maybe give you a little bit of sliding room. So here we go. Heading onto the bridge, 0% at the moment. Remember, make sure you get onto Zwift Insider, work out where you need the power-ups, what you're going to use them for, and when. Now, starting to see the pressure on here because we've got Neil Beavers, Ken Kerrigan riding together here. Raccoon just a little bit further back. Then it's Kerrigan and Beavers together. Canham and Mason are not all that far apart. Milliman looks like Smith with Pattison and Taylor. So Luke in here, then Joanne Lee has got Johnny Lightfoot. Mike Salkar's got a push here going into this descent. This is the big push down. Very difficult to get on, but Paul Malin is just in front of Mike here. So if Malin and Salco can get together, they can push on, and they might have a chance. But look at the watts per kilo coming out of the group in front. We're talking 3-4 watts per kilo comfortably by the group in front. Interesting to see, I think, Pritchard here using the anvil on his way down there to get it used and get that extra mass, extra momentum on the way down. Experience Swifter, of course. Make sure you jump onto his channel. Lots of great videos on there. Very entertaining, it has to be said. So just taking a look across, you can just see Cokin, Tunnicliffe in here, Creases in here, Richardson, after all that work at the back, has made it into the gang at the front. Craig Herring in here as well. Hutchinson in the gang. Definitely a rider you got to watch out for. He weighs about as much as a Locust that's been on a diet, so just on his way through. Don't chase, I need a head start. Yeah, right. Don't believe that now. And flames just coming out of the wheels of Russ as he goes up onto the climb here. And I'm not surprised he's chased down, or he's trying to chase down Dale Williams, who's put the pressure on here, and he's got the gap. Can he make it stick? We're seeing a feather go in. I think that's going to be from Varty. Ketteringham is pulling him across, so it should be Williams, Ketteringham and Varty in that order as they come through. They've got Isaac Oliver getting onto the wheels at the moment. So Mark Salkeld is indeed paying for that sprint. Dale, I think you might have misjudged that. You've got the wrong people with you. Let's face it, as you go up there. Now, let's see if James Beagley can get back in touch. He has. He's made the junction. Lindley trying to come across at 6 watts per kilo. Behind then it's Hutchinson at about another 5.7. Lindley keeps on putting in a little bit of a spurt to try and get up there. Let's see if he can get there. Drabble, again, another rider who's just being caught by this pace on the front. The gap is about 7 seconds, and the rain won't help our drone get a decent view back here. So, leading group of 6 riders: Varty, Williams, Lindley, Kettering, Oliver, and Beagley. That is our leading group here. Behind, though, Drabble is going to make contact. He's the rider closing quickly onto the heels here. Here he comes. So this is Drabble. Behind Drabble, then Hutchinson is also trying to make the junction here. Russ a little bit further back down the climb here. And again, this is going to be tough stuff for Russ to get back on. He's got Adi Dench in front, Pritchard in front of him. But you can see these gaps are very difficult to close down. You're not going to get much assistance at 28 kph. So, Drabble leading. He came through that group. He's gone into the lead. He's taken Isaac Oliver with him. Then it's Beagley in 3rd. Ketteringham in 4th. Varty in 5th. Williams in 6th. Lindley in 7th. Hutchinson in 8th. Pritchard in 9th. Adi Dench in 10th. I'm going to have a little bit of a look back for someone leading like so. Russ at the moment sitting in 12th place. Miles Curry, Sonny sitting in 15th position. He just goes around the side there. Heading up on to the climb he goes. Let's have a look at Chris Pritchard. Is he suffering? Well, 176 beats per minute. So he's definitely paying for this a bit. 63 revs a minute. He's alongside Jeff Saysel from Continental. Dick Samuel in there. But Pritchard now is going to be suffering. He comes up onto the climb. So can Pritchard continue to push? Can he make pace? He's got a big group of riders around him. Currently sitting in 25th position. But Pritchard has work to do to get up to the front of that pack. We've got Woodall in front in here. We've got Miles Curry in front. Wayne Barr is in front. They're all chasing our leaders. And that group, again, is fracturing as they come up here. And it's Beagley who is doing the damage. Hutchinson, Varty and Kettering have very quickly been dropped off the back of this leading trio of riders. So it's Beagley, Drabble and Oliver now leading out our youngsters, taking advantage of a lack of mass to be able to accelerate up this hill. Drabble getting rid of that draft early on here, behind 15 seconds down. And this is going to be the group with Hutchinson, Zach Hutchinson, Mark Ketteringham, Rob Varty, and then behind these 3 it is going to be Dale Williams, currently in 7th. Then it's going to be Pritchard and Linley in 8th and ninth, respectively. Wayne Barr in 10th. Adi Dench in 11. Russ in 12. Sadler in 13. Miles Curry 14. Richardson 15. And keep on pushing here. This is going to be very interesting indeed as we go further and further up these slopes. So, Lewis from the Origin race team at the moment. The rider in 17th position. He's in front of the gang that contains the shape that is Chris Pritchard. Pritchard continuing to push here. Heart rate has dropped down to 176, so maybe just easing back a little bit at the moment. The watts have dropped from 326 down to sub 300. He needs to push on here. You can't afford to take too many rests on this climb, and that is quite simply because it's going to be motoring on up the hillside here. So our riders up on the top. I've just been joined in the studio, in fact, by the WOW DCG legend that is the leader that is Emma Martin. The professor is back. Come to analyse the pace and power of the riders. Gareth Mason currently sitting in 15th position. Russ currently in what is 9th. Our leaders, though, a really, really interesting move. We've got Isaac Oliver, James Beagley, and Pete Drabble. These are the three. Drabble is the old fella in this. I think Pete probably is only about like 18 or 19, but compared to these two, he's a veritable old fella because you can see the difference in the avatars here. If we go alongside Isaac and James, they are like basically the ultimate in lean and mean. If we go alongside Pete here, slightly different physical profile, just a little bit more solid, a little bit more mass. Compared to my avatar, he's positively looking like he's a starvation victim, but that's because my avatar looks huge in comparison. But mine is fairly realistically my body weight and size and shape, and I'm not exactly the littlest person in the world. In fact, when Russ comes round, I feel like a giant. So, Richardson at the moment, 17th. Interesting battle back here. The Sonny Miles Curry, currently the green jersey, not all the far off the back of that group there. Oxenham just up the road. Brad Cheeseman up there. And Pritchard starting to slip. He was 25th. Chris Pritchard. I'm sure that top will have unzipped itself automatically at this point in time. And he will be baring his chest to the entire YouTube feed. I don't even dare tell you what's happening in the studio right at this moment in time. It's I think there's some serious shock going on now as our yellow beaker goes. Now, Vin Donahoe currently in 34th place. John Hind about 37th. That's an interesting battle. I have these riders really similar, actually. Vin Donahoe and John Hind, both really experienced riders, both lean as lean, and both very, very quick as well. And I think that's an interesting battle. Trevor Crehan right in this mix as well. A little bit further back, we've got Clark, then Briggs, Mike Salkel. Mike, always dangerous sprinting on any Donny Chaingang prior to the finish. It is definitely a no factor. Just whilst we're back here, John Lee on a good ride here, sitting in 49th position. John doing a good job at the moment. Just dropping a little bit further back. Ken Carrigan in here. Looks like Tracy Terminator T 2.0. Tech dropouts and issues, and that got a raised eyebrow off Emma as she saw the position there, then realised it was a tech issue going through. Miss Cookie still continuing to ride. Remember, Miss Cookie, don't overbake your cookies. Steady does it. Crispy cookies, not good. Soft squishy was always much better. Soft in the middle, chewy. There you go, comment from Emma. She could actually put the other set of headphones on, but she's really not bothered so far today. So let's take a little bit of a run back up towards the front of the group at the moment. Let's see what's happening in that battle between Beagley and Oliver. There's nothing to choose between them still. This is going to be a really interesting finish here. Beagley really pushing on well. He seems to be on the front most at the moment. Then Oliver sat immediately behind him. 13 seconds now to Hutchinson, who's started to pull clear of Rob Varty. Drabble, though, the big loser on these upper slopes at the moment. And looks like Drabble, I think, could well have gone pop. I hope it's not a tech issue at this stage. So you can just see Pritchard now climbing the hillside here. He's got Ketteringham behind him. We could see Mark back on again on the gang again and playing the Zwift game to its max, trying to get into that leading group. Still nicely inside the top 10. So at the moment it is Beagley in 1, Oliver in 2, Hutchinson in 3, Varty in 4. Then Drabble in 5, Ketteringham in 6, Pritchard in 7, Dench in 8, Lindley in 9, Downing in 10, Barr in 11, Lewis currently in 12th place, then Sadler in 13, Jeff Saysel in 14, looks like Mason in 15. Russ telling us he's going to go pop anytime now. I'm just going to, hang on, let's just zoom in and let's get it in all its glory. That heart rate is up there. Let's have a look as the wheel's going to fall off. I love the sparks coming off his wheels when he gave it some earlier on. There was like flames coming out the back. It was like, you know, when you're a kid and you just, you put down, in fact, most people probably won't have done this, stolen magnesium from school, pinned the tacks onto the bottom. Yeah, I didn't steal it from school, honest cuff. Pinned it on the bottom of your shoes and then put your foot down as you're on your bike going round a corner and put sparks out. It was great, particularly when it was damp. So here we go, just going to drop a little bit further down. So Miles Curry currently in the 16th position. Looks like Matt Crease a little bit further away. Liam Callaway just dropping down a touch here. Kuslow's pushing it nicely on here. He's got Simon Oxenham just behind him, but the leaders up the road still. It's going to be Isaac Oliver, who now puts in the attack over the top. We're not all that far from the gantry. Got back just in time. Timing is everything. Maybe just missed the attack by Isaac. But Beagley, has he got a response here? That gantry comes. It takes a long time to come. You can just see it in the distance here. Now, has Isaac Oliver done enough? Varty is trying to kick on from the group behind, but I think we're going to see Isaac Oliver get his top spot here today. Is it going to be Isaac's win? Well, I think it's looking good. Interesting, he's got the full lightweight bike today. He's getting the nod of the head from Emma here. So this is going to be victory. Isaac Oliver comes up. He's going to go in and just over the hour mark, up over the top. Isaac Oliver in 1 it is. Then it is James Beagley in 2. Behind, Rob Varty has put in a good old kick here. Final sprint, Rob. Come on, mate. This is it. He's going to come in and through. So Isaac Oliver, no surprise there, taking the jersey. Going up the top, then Beagley in 2nd. Rob Varty's going to get 3rd place here today. Good ride by Rob, working his way up and through. Zach Hutchinson doing a great job here. Zach, you'll need to let me know whether it's Zachary or Zach, which you prefer. I'm pretty sure it's Zach that you prefer, but I'm getting odd. Maybe my memory's going. So 4th place for Zach. Then it is going to be Matt Pritchard, currently in 5th position. This is where the numbers start to go wrong at the top. So remember, this is where you've got to watch the videos back on the Downey Cycling YouTube channel, on the Full Speed Events YouTube channel, or on the Facebook page as well. Not going out on Twitter today, and we're not going out on the Full Speed Events Facebook page today. Just seeing if we can change the lag a little bit on there. So it's going to be a 5th place for Matt Pritchard, who is going to stay clear on the run into the line here. So Matt Pritchard is going to go in underneath the gantry. Through he goes in 5th place. Mark Ketteringham is going to come through. There we go. He's going to be in 6th position just. It's going to be Lindley in 7. It'll be Adi Dench in 8. Russ Downing is going to be in 9. So a top 10 for Russ today here on the hill. Yet another nod there. Not a raised eyebrow or a nod, but you can tell whether you've done a good ride. It's a raised eyebrow if it's interesting, a nod if it's good. Wayne Barr, great ride by Wayne there, 10th position. That's because he's having a chase to try and keep up with Jane all the time out on the mountain bike. I'm not surprised he's riding well. Sadler's going to come through in 11th place here, so well done to Chris. It's going to be 12th place for Jeff Saysel today, so Jeff is doing a good ride here. Lewis is going to be in 13th position for the Orange and Race team. It's going to be a 14th for Sonny Miles Curry, our green jersey holder. The fat cyclist is Gareth Mason, going to be coming through for 15th on a big climb on his home turf. So 15th for Mason as he comes in to the line. Going to be a 16th for Woodall, just behind him, immediately behind a sprint coming up, but that's going to be 17th for Williams, and that's a big ask to come around Williams. Richardson pushing him all the way there, and Richardson coming through in 18th place. Brad Cheeseman's going to come through. Good ride by Brad, well done, mate. That's really good. Coming through in 19th position, then it's going to be Liam I say it's going to be Liam Callaway. Oh, he's going to get rolled on the line here. So Sharp goes over the top there. And it's going to be Gary Sharp who goes through in what is 20th position, Liam in 21st behind him. It's going to be Kooslugs on his way up here. So good riding by Kooslugs as he comes in to the line. That bit very accurate. 22nd, 23rd is going to be Simon Martin. And then it's going to be a 24th place for Simon Oxenham. Well done, Simon. Coming all the way to the line, buddy. Oh, talk about just rolling over there. Behind it's going to be James Forbes. I'm going to stop counting now because my count is going to go wrong. This is the furthest ever seen me count for a long, long time. Yeah, nodding at that one as well. Great. So it is Forbes going up over the top of the climb there and goes through the line. Now, Vin Donahoe comes through. I could see Vin going through just ahead of Steve Wilson. Steve, let us know on the Facebook page how your cross season is going. I know you come back to cross basically because you've been riding the Chaingang. We want to see those posts up on those Facebook pages. Behind then it's going to be Jason Stevens being followed by Rob Wimble. Rob, the same again, mate. Get those posts up. Let us know how the very first races go of the season. Dick Samuel goes over, and then it's going to be Chris Pritchard. Pritchard, that heart rate now starting to drop. Let's see if the video gets about 10 billion hits and likes. And now he engages the anvil. Exactly the right time to do it on the big descent. Dick Samuel behind him. Then Gary Licence on his way to the top. Now, Gary Licence has got Trevor Crehan behind him, then Luke Taylor, then Johnny Tudos, Johnny Lightfoot, then Luke Hine, then Ben Cokin. So Vin Donahoe pushed really on there from John Hine there because he was not that far in front. So good riding there on the way up and through. So Gary Licence comes through. Good to see Gary back on the Chaingang being followed through by Trevor Crehan. Crehan goes in through with Luke Taylor immediately behind him. Then it's going to be Lightfoot. So Johnny Lightfoot goes through. Then it's going to be Ben Cokin. Apologies for the jumpy screen and my fingers can't move fast enough to get it back. And then it's John Hine coming in with Neil Morn and Mick Clark coming in towards line. So Neil on the front here. Happy birthday again. He's had like happy birthday wishes either side of his birthday actually. It's quite a substantial one. Then Mick Clark going through. Then next up should be Joanne Lee, but she's got behind her the shape of Owen Davis. Will Owen Davis managed to go in and past? And I do actually have a coffee in the studio now. The world is a better place. Excuse me, it's a Grand Tour coffee, as you'd expect. Very nice indeed. Got to pause for coffee. And back to it. So, Joanne Lee on the way back up here. Distancing Owen going over the top. It's a great riding by Joanne. 14.51 going in and over. Owen Davis goes in and through. Then it's going to be El Capo, our next rider up to the line here. Do like the multicoloured discs. They're about as subtle as my van. Next up, it's going to be Mike Salkeld. I say my van, it's the Full Speed Events van, really. Coming up, so Mike paying for that sprint, Mike. The DCG is definitely not easy. It's going to be tough stuff. And then it's going to be Bobby Mason. So Mason, our next rider, another of our regulars. Great to see Bobby on the Chaingang. What's going? Great support. Regular out with Andy Hawes as well. Andy taking a little bit of a break at the moment, and understandably so. I can be definitely looking forward to seeing Andy still mopping up after the tour and obviously the changes that happened with the Tour of Britain. Next up should be Carl Briggs, then Gary Pattison, Philip Oliver and Gary Smith. Still plenty of riders out on the course at the moment. And just keeping an eye on where our Red Beacon group is and co. So let's see how we're going on. I like Russ's. I agree with Russ. Who likes placings now when you're not like... Yeah, I like the placings, Russ. It keeps my counting skills in check. It does go very wrong. Remember, though, of course, when people climb off, you get in trouble if you're not careful. So, breaks up to the top. He goes over the top, and then it's going to be Gary Patterson. Don't forget, of course, that the ride all supported by the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club, who are looked after by the sponsors at the bottom of the screen. 1080, the guys from Continental, Velaskin, Halo, as well as Nonnas, Gritty, and OTE. Don't forget, if you register to join a ride, if you haven't done already, 10% discount for you. If you're a member of the DCG gang, 25% discount. If you've read your email from today as a member, it is different to the early one in the week, and I do admit to what is a rookie error, stroke 2.5 weeks of being out of practice and filling both bottles with fuel and not hydration. Guess who paid the price when he was out on Tuesday? I was still moaning and whinging apparently about my legs yesterday, and this morning and most of this afternoon. Yeah, definitely paying the price for that one. So next up is going to be Oliver. Big sprint. Come on, but kick in through the line. That last little kicker there, nicely done. And then it is going to be Gary Smith. So Gary rolling in immediately behind. Then it's going to be Colin McMillan. So McMillan about 34 seconds down, but I think behind him, Chris Canham is not all that far behind, about 4 seconds, and just about make him out behind. So if we drop back to Chris at the moment, you can see Chris chasing that little tiny flickering blue figure. And this is a downside to the Tron bike, actually. If you're riding on a bike that's got a bright neon light on it, oddly enough, it's very hard to get out of sight of the other riders because it's lit up. There's a reason that my kit is completely camo. Now, Chris Canham coming up pace, pointed out there by Emma, and watching these dots that are coming. This is going to be tight. This is going to be really, really close. We're going to watch him come to the line. I think McMillan just got that timing nicely held out there. So Colin McMillan just from Chris Canham. We always love a good sprint. Great stuff, guys. Well done. Enjoy the downhill, my favourite bit. Next up, Neil Beavers. Neil, good to see you on the gang again. It was out first Chaingang last week. This time round, up onto the top of the climb. It's a real mix of routes. There's flat routes, there's fast routes, there's hilly routes. But, of course, the overriding thing on the Donny Chaingang is, of course, the team here. Whilst I just put my dinner order in with the boss, apparently I've got 2 fish cakes, if I read the symbols correctly. Either that or she's telling me to get lost and throwing something round at me. But I'm going to let Emma dive back and away. Thanks for coming down and pointing out everybody was going quicker than I didn't notice on the way through. Don't forget you can join the WOW DCG with Emma and the women's gang. That's going to kick off in October, and that will run right the way through till March. Looking forward to that. I'm actually DSing on Tuesday for the team for the Aeonian race team. So Neil Beavers in on his way through. We've got Ken Kerrigan, Mark Grant, Simon Runnett, Tracy Tickers, and Miss Cookie still out on course. And I suspect Miss Cookie is behaving herself and taking a break after having done just over an hour. We managed to twist her on just over an hour. She shouldn't be doing any more than the hour, I'm sure, but doing a little bit more every time. That's great to see. Now, Ken Kerrigan, our next rider on the climb here from Chef Wreck. So Ken, the regular bus driver in real life, staying clear of the Red Beacon bus group. And this is going to be Mark Grant. Tickers and Tracy currently on that climb together as well. The riders nicely well on the way up this climb, and you can just see the distance. I'm going to try and jump in with Tracy. So Tickers clocks clearly, those kilometres are clearly playing up for Tickers. Tracy on the way up, and good to see that Tracy is sitting in with Tickers. Doing a good job there as second beacon. People helping out at the back, which is what we always want to see. So Ken Kerrigan in and through the line behind him. Just trying to get a little view of the country as it goes off in the distance. So another good ride by Ken. Once again on the Pinarello here with those DI cut DTs as he drops down from here. Simon Runnett leading up Mark Grant. And, of course, we've got Tickers and Tracy at the back of the gang. This means we've got a little bit of a gap, which means I get to do something slightly different for a little bit whilst the riders continue upwards. So a quick reminder, guys, make sure you register early. Chaingang back next week, 2 rides, Tuesday and Thursday. Don't forget, guys, whatever you do, make sure you register 25 hours to an hour in front to get the link. Make sure, of course, that if you are going to be a member of the DCG gang, you do it ideally before the weekend when you're going to join. It's really simple. It means that the automated emails send everybody the email out, and I don't have to chase loads of people joining late and spend a lot of time sending individual emails. You get the same email, you don't get it any more personalised. In fact, you get less personalised than the one that comes out en masse. But it does cost quite a lot of time mucking about. Sometimes that was time that would have been better fixing the echo that seemed to invade tonight at thelastminute.com. So, guys, make sure you enjoy yourselves up on the climb. I know that we've got Simon and Mark on the way in to Awards Climb. You can see them just across on the side. Don't forget, of course, all of this possible by the support of the people who look after the DCG gang. Give those incentives for you to join it, and that is 1080. So if you want a set of Oakleys, staying on brand always, even with me gigs on. 1080. Cheapest place, great place, best advice, best Oakley shop as far as I'm concerned in the UK by far, if not the world. Make sure you get in there and go see the guys on 1080 at Norwich. Don't forget, of course, that you can get a discount on that, and that is from the gang who are involved in the Chaingang. And they do an amazing job. So a massive, massive thank you to Ian at 1080. So we're just going to watch Simon on his way through. Simon pacing Mark up the hillside. And then we're going to drop down and in. And let's see who we've got. We've got Tickers and Tracy together on the way up. So let's see how they are rolling. So well done to Simon. Thank you very much to our Red Beacon today. Don't forget, if you want to have a go at being Red Beacon, if you want to see what all the fuss is about how much fun it is getting people in and through, make sure you jump on the ride. Now, Tracy on the way up here, Terminator 2.0, with Tickers as they come up. Tickers from Sitwell on the climb. So whilst these guys make the work, they're just about to pull up onto the upper plateau here in Zwift. Going to do a quick reminder. OT at the moment, 25% discount. Yes, 25% discount. If, like me, you need to remember what you're putting in your bottles. If you need to make sure you get the best out of whether it's riding indoors or out, make sure that you get those OTE products in. Don't forget, of course, our Red Beacon today. Simon, that picture of him in his gritty top. Gritty, sustainable wear. Always there and supporting the DCG gang from the word go. Big discount, 20% off them. Continental discounts coming, as well as Halo discounts coming up. Velaskim with big 20% discount from them for the members of the DCG gang. And of course, Nonna's looking after our riders as well. Make sure that you join, you sign up, and you become part of the DCG gang. If you can't afford the monthly or the yearly membership for the DCG gang, you can donate on an ad hoc basis when you sign up. And everybody who's done that, we really do appreciate it. We go through kit rate notes, and to be honest, we can't afford to just keep on trashing it because it gets used for things that we actually do for work. So please, guys, make sure that you look after Russ and myself in making sure that we don't end up too far out of pocket doing the Donny Chaingang every Tuesdays and Thursdays. Now, Tiggers and Tracy just pulling up onto the platform at the top. So Tiggers going, excuse me, Tiggers going to a set of deep DC rims on that Pinarello. Nice matching wheels and bike. Tracy going for a set of lightweight stuff. We've got, of course, Halo wheels that are keeping Russ rolling, and indeed myself. Not all that long before I get a new pair of wheels on the bike on the way through. So let's see how they go. So our riders on the way up the climb. They're coming into towards the top of the climb here. Tracy Seeley and Mark Tickle, aka Terminator T2, and Tickers making the way in. Our last two riders out on the course, and a big thank you to all of our riders this week. Massive, massive thank you. Please remember, guys, if you're going to look after us, do so by donating to the gang. So let's jump in with them here today as we make our way in. And just going to get a quick look in, because I think we'll jump on Tickers here as they come through. I can imagine these riders going to come through. So well done, Mark. So we come in to the finish, another climb conquered, and a nice downhill. Make sure you get the most, maximise your points on the way down. Ticker's just coming up over the top of the climb. That descent is absolutely key. He's going to roll. He's going to let Tracy roll in and through there. So come on, Tickers, get over the top because you've got that top. You just roll just to let Tracy go through. You want the downhill. You need that downhill. All extra points in the bag, miles in the bag. So well done to Tracy. Well done to Mark on the way through. Tracy just descending down the hillside here today. So all that remains is for me to say thank you very much. Tracy, enjoy the downhill. So from myself, Matt Payne, from Russ, from all the team, all of our Bakers Gale who stitched us all together, thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, join the Facebook group to be notified when we go live again. Absolute pleasure putting words to the action as always. Where can you see us next? Well, we have the finale of the XCE Mountain Bike Eliminator. That's coming out on Saturday afternoon. You can find all of the links on the at Full Speed events pages or on citymountainbike.co.uk. Sorry, mountainbike.citymountainbike.com pages. Get it right, Matt. That's going to be coming out on Sunday. The destination of the win in the women's already decided, but the positions behind very, very close indeed. The men's still wide open in that series. Sunday we're going to be streaming esports again. More cycling coming out. Big prize money races that we cover every Sunday. Men's races in the morning and then the women's races in the afternoon. And then after that we're back for the Chaingang on Tuesday. So if we don't see you before Tuesday, look after yourselves. Enjoy your riding. I'll catch you up with you somewhere on a course at some point. But from everybody here on the Chaingang, bye-bye.